And in studio with us for a bit is Ms. Ann Fumarolo. She is the director at Shreveport. So,
she's the CEO and the Presidente.
Tell us about your week.
It's been exciting, thank you.
I just bet.
I've had a lot of phone calls. I think first thing that we really want people to know is Shreveport isn't closing, and probably the second thing is that audit really ended our year. It sounds like 2016 would end in December. Our year ended last June, so we've been operating 10 months since that audit. And we opened a new pop museum.
Now, you just said that one of the things, maybe the major thing, is that people are drawing a lot of, from the legislative audit, a lot of misconceptions about that report. If that's true, what are those?
Well, I think that, number one, there were reports that we had posted large losses for the last 2 years. That's not true. 2015, we didn't have a loss. And 2016, it was less than 1% before depreciation.
How many dollars when you say percentage? What kind of dollar amount are we looking at?
Last year, it was $50,000 before depreciation we lost, which is less than 1% on a $3 million budget.
Okay. The audit has this statement in it, and this is what people are concerned about. This is a quote, under existing circumstances, there is substantial doubt about the ability of Shreveport, Louisiana Science Center, to continue as a going concern.
Right. And they have to write that in an audit when your liabilities and your assets aren't above 1. And ours are not. And I can tell you why. Number one, we're in the middle of a capital campaign. And so what that really means on layman's terms is you don't have as much in your checkbook as you have bills. I'm sure that's never happened to any of us.
Right.
When you have a lot of bills for a capital campaign and you're doing a capital campaign to raise money, you don't have enough money to cover all the bills that are building pop. Mm-hmm. And that happened, obviously, 2 years in a row.
You had to have seen this one coming, right? You had to have sort of been getting the shelter ready, as it were, battening down the hatches. You had to know that this report was coming out and that this kind of response might occur.
Oh, definitely. And then, as I said, we were just talking about, it's always interesting because you have to say things like before depreciation on a loss. Because if you look at our report over on it, it looks like we lost, I don't know, $700 and some $1,000 or some number in there. I can look at it. But if you take out $693,000 in depreciation, which isn't a cash, it's just saying that my desk is a little older, well, then you really didn't lose cash. You lost it's other things.
Something that popped out at me, and of course, I don't read financial statements. I'm not the math whiz in the room. I don't think any of us are, but maybe you. It shows in 2015, from 2015 to 2016, administrative costs went up by $30,000. It would seem to me if you're struggling financially, your administrative costs shouldn't go up.
I would agree with that. But again, we're back in the building something. So you've got a huge campaign that we had to bring people in to build. And so that's increased our administrative costs. And while we all know the economy is a little weaker, in January, just because of that, we did let go of almost $200,000 in payroll because obviously we can't maintain it.
When you say let go of payroll, you let people go.
We downsized.
How many? What are we talking about?
5.
5 people were let go. Mm-hmm. Do you anticipate more staff reductions this year?
No, I don't. I anticipate maybe not filling positions and not bringing in as many part-time people as we do for the summer because we do a lot of camps and stuff. So we're really hitting our busy season. So we may be using more volunteers for some of the positions, but I don't see any more full-time people going.
Okay, so it ain't as bad as it looks. It ain't as bad as the audit makes it seem.
But are you flush?
But on the other hand, you don't want to do it again. What's the plan?
No, we don't want to do it again. And I think that is one of the pieces that the board's been really working on, fundraising to make sure that the capital campaign gets finished up in this year. So that will help our assets. That number grow. That really is the important number that we want to be able to, pay our bills. Number 2, something like this hasn't been very helpful because I spent till 7:30, like not last night, the night before, calling members who wanted their money back because they thought we were closing and wanted to know how to get their money back. So
again, Shreveport is not closing.
Right. Shreveport is not closing, and we just really everybody has really rallied in trying to make sure that we have a good audit at the end of this year.
In that vein,
yes,
we started the segment at about 11 and a half or 12 minutes past the hour. It's almost 7:17. So 5 minutes explaining to me that things aren't as bad as they look. When somebody calls you on the phone and is an annual donor, do you take 5 minutes to explain, or do you have one or two quick lines? I don't mean like a sales line or like bending the truth, but what do you say to them?
It really depends what their question is. I mean, if they're talking about their donation, we'll talk about that donation. But again, I think the big thing to say is that audit is from June of 2016. And if at that point we were imminent to close, we would have closed. But we've operated another 10 months and opened POP.
Well, let's imagine I'm on the phone, or I'm right here and I've got $1,000 or $2,000 or $5,000 check, and it's got Shreveport. Convince me why I should write the check.
Well, it's really exciting because since we have opened POP, we started our year and we were in construction. We were behind in all of our admissions and stuff, and I'm going to give you a number, and it's about $40,000, I think, by the end of October. Since that point, not only have we made up that $40,000, we're now ahead for the year in admissions, that it really is a thriving place. But I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The economy is tough. We can earn our revenue. People are coming into the building, but donations are much harder to get right now.